Okay, good morning. It is October the 6th, Sunday, 2018 here in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. This is the time of year that you want to be in Phoenix. The temperatures right now are going to be a high of about 85 degrees. I mean, it is really, really beautiful out right now. And that's why people come to Phoenix. You come to Phoenix in July and August and even June when it's 115 and 120 sometimes. Not so much, but this time of year is just perfect. But one of the things we need to do is because we are about 7 months out from, almost 8 months out from me retiring, and about that time we're gonna go get our rig and start this journey, is that we've got to learn how to downsize. And that's one of my big faults. Karen's been getting on me about that for a while. And because we live in about a 2,800 square foot house, it's got a swimming pool, it's got just a huge backyard, it's got a storage shed, 3 bathrooms, got 2 dogs here, but we have to learn how to downsize. And one of the biggest things for me was downsizing my t-shirts. Okay, so this was my closet. Karen had her own closet, but this was my closet. And it's kind of my junk closet. I still got some baseball caps up there, some things when I was in the military and law enforcement and things like that. But just try to envision this. This entire area here was nothing but shirts. And then this entire side over here was nothing but shirts, just packed to the gill with t-shirts. Again, probably right about 200. It was pretty close to 200. So what I did was I took all these shirts out and then I laid them out and I started going through them. And then what I ended up were just these shirts. These are all the shirts that I wear most of the time that I really like. For whatever reason, I think they look pretty good on me, or they just got my favorite shirts. I think every guy's probably got his favorite shirt. So I've got some shirts here, and I'll just grab one here out of the blue. Oh my gosh! Well, who'd have thought that? Here's a Godzilla shirt. I am a huge Godzilla geek. I know that I'm 55 years old, but you know what, almost 56, but I'm a huge Godzilla geek. So that Godzilla shirt's definitely coming with me. I am going to bring a suit along. I've got one suit I'm going to bring, probably a couple dress shirts. Karen wants to bring a couple of nice ties and things like that. But again, guys, it's all about downsizing. I mean, if you don't start doing that now, it's just going to catch up on you when it's really kind of time to pull the trigger. So you got to do this. You got to downsize. The other group of shirts, obviously, I've got 2 other separate piles. Obviously, I've got what you just saw is the shirts that I'm bringing with me. But what am I doing with the other, 170 other shirts I'm doing? And I've got that also. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, this is the pile of shirts that I am keeping, but I'm not taking with me full-time RVing. That's still a lot of t-shirts, it really is. But I just love these shirts. I mean, there are my Hard Rock Cafe shirts from all over the United States and different parts of the world. I got a t-shirt in there from a place called Haunted Hamburger in Jerome, Arizona. It's just a great place to go. A couple American flag shirts. Things like that. These are great shirts. These are the shirts that I'm packing up and that we're going to put into a box and that we're going to save. And then, if we ever get a Sticks and Bricks home, I'm sure obviously we will at some point. But whenever we decide to do that, I'm going to have these shirts stacked up. I may not wear them. Who knows how it'll be by this time? But I still enjoy these shirts. I want to keep them, so I've got these shirts. You're supposed to ask me what I do with my hand now that we don't have the thing blowing. So what'd you do again, Phil?
Why are you shooting in here today, Phil? You had injured your hand.
Yes,
you were
I
on
did.
light duty.
Yes.
Now you're getting released to full duty.
Yes, I injured my hand. Some of you may have seen in a previous video I made when I was cleaning out my house and getting rid of my collection of shirts that I was wearing a cast. And that's because about 2 months ago, I was on one of the freeways here in Phoenix, and we had a combative robbery suspect, and he was trying to bite in fact, actually a sergeant I was training, he was trying to bite him on the inside of his armpit. And as you can tell, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I have punched a few people in my career, and punched them a couple times, and never happened before, but this time my whole hand got swollen up. So it turned out that, if you can see this, we have tendons that run over our knuckles, and I tore a tendon right here over my middle knuckle, and so they had to do full surgery. They cut it open, put 6 stitches in there, and it's still a little bit swollen compared to the other hand, but I can move it. This is after about 2.5 months, so I can still move it around. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna shoot some rounds down range, thanks to our handy dandy firearms instructor, Officer Drew Loper, and make sure I can still put a bullet into a bad guy if I need to. Hopefully not, especially since I've only got 6 more months to go in my career, but just to make sure we can still do that.
Failure drills. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. 4 seconds. Much better. 2.5 seconds. So just
Okay,
a double,
primary only.
primary only. Double check the strength on your hand.
And then all 3 to black dot,
Yeah.
or headshots or black dot.
Whatever you want to shoot.
Let's try to do headshots since I've already got some of the black dot.
That's good. All 3 are in.
All 3 are in. Well, one in the, like the jaw, and then 2 are almost like the forehead.
2 right in the forehead. Good shot.
Drew, what are we doing here?
Gun is dry.
My gun is dry.
I gotta take care of you sergeants.
You've been taking care of me for how long now?
I don't know. When did you come to the squad?
What was it?
A couple months.
About a year now, I think.
Yeah.
No, that long?
Roughly.
I think so. All right. And what's wrong with 9mm?
Nothing.
How come you said, oh my God, you switched to a 9mm? I'm telling you, I shoot more accurately with that.
Because a real man shoots a 45.
No. Is that so?
There's nothing particularly wrong. Ballistically, nowadays, 9mm is closer than it used to be to the 45s.
And the grains and the ammunition have changed and everything else. What I understand is that nowadays a 9mm is basically can be equivalent to an older 40 or 45 caliber round.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
They're about the same now. Yeah, ballistically they're about the same.
All right, thank you. The biggest obstacle that I've hit so far with Karen and I starting Blue Line RV Adventures has not been what a lot of people might think it would be. And the biggest obstacle that I see in going through YouTube videos and listening to people and reading up on the topic is going from a sticks and bricks home into full-time RVing. Their biggest issue is downsizing, and that's understandably so. You're going from a 2,800 square foot house, maybe even larger in some cases, down to just a couple of hundred square feet, 4 to 6 tires and 2 axles. And that causes a lot of people issues, but for me personally, not so much. I'm actually looking forward to it. I mean, if you think about a house, you've got a kitchen, a dining room, maybe a formal dining room, a living room, a family room, a master bath, 2 or 3 bathrooms, maybe a guest room, a den, an office. And really, we're only spending just a small amount of time in just a couple of these rooms. We spend time in the kitchen, we spend time in the living room where the television is. Maybe obviously we sleep in our bedrooms and in our restrooms, and that's it. We don't really spend a lot in the formal dining room unless we're having a party or Thanksgiving or something like that. Family rooms, maybe not so much. Guest rooms, only if guests are over. I mean, really don't spend a lot of time there. So to me, I look at it and I go, downsizing is kind of an exciting to me because I think there's a lot of wasted space that I have, a lot of items I have that I can either get rid of or box up and put in long-term storage. The biggest issue and roadblock I've hit so far is this. I am not a tech-savvy geek, not at all, never have been. I was born in the early 60s. There's probably 15-year-old kids out there that understand computers, far better than I ever will by playing Xbox and everything else. And I was never into that. Being a police officer for the past 33 years, I can tell you all about law enforcement. I can tell you how many rounds a Glock handgun holds. I can tell you about criminal law and courtroom procedures. I can tell you about search and seizure and tactics and things like that. But, as far as a lot of the computer stuff, I've kind of been able to fudge my way through that over the course of the past few years. Thank goodness for cutting and pasting. But this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I have done some videoing, minor, a little bit of videoing, obviously, in my past. 100% off of my phone. I've taken some videos, I put them up on Facebook, and maybe sent a couple out via text messaging. But I've never done anything like this. I've never done any real videography, and I've never done anything even close to editing. And And this is a learning process for me. It's like anything. It's like when you start driving a car. When the very first day you drive a car, you're not very good at it. The second day you get better. The third day you get better. And that's what's going on here. I am slowly getting better at it. Maybe a little bit faster than glacier speed, but it's taking a little bit of time. What I've got here is I've got my Apple desktop computer, very large screen, probably something in excess of 17 inches. And if you've got Apples, and Apples is what I prefer, what Apple is what Karen and I have. We've got Apple iPhones, and we've got Apple iPads, and we've got MacBook Pros on our laptops, and we've got this. Other people use Samsung. My son Chris has got a Samsung phone. He loves it. It says it's got a great camera quality to it. Other people use different types of computers. But for us, Apple works pretty easy. And Apple's got a program on it called iMovie, which is what I'm up on right now. And it's said to be one of the better ones, and it's also part of the program, so it doesn't cost me any extra money. Relatively easy to use, which is what I find out. A lot of the Apple products are. They're usually pretty user friendly. So I've got that. I'm kind of working my way through this, but it's taken some time. My intent was to have our first video up in the mid to latter part of December. Now it's looking like it's going to be the latter part of January. Probably December was probably not really realistic. I mean, the holidays were coming around. We had company in from town over Christmas. Even we were finishing up with Thanksgiving after that, and it just wasn't real advantageous, or time-wise for me to sit down during that time and really try to sit down and try to figure this out. I have no doubt that as time goes on, I will get much, much better at this, and I'll probably be able to zip through it much faster than I'm going now, at least hopefully so. But that's the intent. But our idea is to try to get our first video up, and which is probably what you're going to see right now. This will probably be part of that video, but our idea is to try to get the first video up the latter part of January. And that's important because on January the 19th, Saturday, we are going to be in Quartzsite. Quartzsite is the largest RV show west of the Mississippi, or one of the largest. I don't want to say it's the largest, but it's one of the largest west of the Mississippi. Big gathering of RV enthusiasts. A lot of people are going to be there representing companies and sales programs and so forth. And there's going to be some full-time RVers there, and some other fellow YouTube vloggers are going to be there as well. I know that Traveling Robert's going to be there. I think that, in fact, I know for a fact that Me and the RV is going to be there. I'm not too sure about Keep Your Daydream. I'm not sure if Mark and Trish are going to make it out. I don't know if the Nomadic Fanatic is going to make it out. But these are some of the people that we follow, or the Motorhome Experiment. I can't leave them out. I don't know if they're going to make it or not, but these are some of the people that we follow, and it's kind of gotten us, for me at least, kind of gotten us hooked, or gotten me hooked at least, for becoming a full-time RVer. Karen is probably, I'm sure that the videos we've seen and the things that we've heard and read have influenced her as well. She's probably, I think Karen's wanted to be a full-time RVer though a lot longer than I have. This is relatively still new to me, probably in the last 6 to 8 months, but I'm definitely hooked, 100% in. So that's about it for now. I'm just going to continue to work through this, and again, we got Quartzsite next week, and we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks.
No, no, no.
No, go do your, come on, go do your homework.